Welcome back to the Hotel Advisory Channel. Today, Ashley Montero with me, talking about distress asset. Ashley, what is distress asset?
A distressed asset, Iran, is any asset where the buyer buys land and building for less than the original owner built it for. The acquisition of the land plus the cost of putting up the building is more than what he is prepared to sell it at.
It's less of what he invested or less than what today market. Assuming that someone may bought the property 5, maybe 10, maybe 20 years ago, are we referring to the price that the original owner invest in it, or what is the current market value today?
We are talking about what the land is worth today,
Okay.
plus the building.
Worth today.
Yeah, today.
Good. That gives me a lot of range of understanding what can be called as distressed property. Now, there are some properties are under market value. What are the reasons that people selling property as distressed asset?
Well, the most immediate reason is that they require cash. They require cash for maybe a family emergency. It could be a host of personal reasons, from divorce to ill health, etc. School fees. These are the personal reasons. On the commercial side, it could be because the business is taking money out of their pocket every day, every month.
They're losing money.
Yes. And usually it is the last mile, the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, that people sell an asset at distress value. They have come 99% of the way, and that last 1% is what is actually making them ready to sell it off as a distressed asset. So from a commercial point of view, Iran, usually the business has been losing money for a while. The current owner does not know how to turn it around, and is simply prepared to say, all right, cut my losses and walk away.
I understand you clearly, but for me as a buyer, when I look at a property and it's look nice on the market value, I want to buy it. How can I know the reasons? How can I know that an agent or the owner can tell me that they want to sell the property from personal reasons when the business is losing money? How can I know?
Okay, so Iran, the first thing is, usually in situations like this, you cannot blame the owner for trying to hide facts because he wants to get it out of his stable of investments, assets. So
I don't want to make a mistake.
Exactly. So I think that the first thing you have to do is your own due diligence by hiring the right legal experts and financial experts. I also think it's important that you do your own financial modeling based upon your strategy of what you intend to do with this asset, regardless of what the past has been. So once you acquire the asset, if you do decide after your financial modeling that this is the asset that I wish to acquire, you will never look back, because you're going to implement your strategy, and you're going to, at this point, think about what are all the potential things that could go wrong with this asset. List them down, put a cost to it, and give yourself a budget that will ensure that this product which you have acquired as distress actually begins to make money for you.
Talking about that,
immediately.
It may happen that a property owner is selling the property as distress because of high loans that he need to return, and he cannot maintain those loans. I mean, people taking loans, the interest rate become crazy all over the world. Maybe loan actually start to inflate back up, and people cannot take those loans. Is that mean that if I'm buying the property, it really depends what are the reasons that this property sells as distress, if it's a non-performing. Because if it's a debt that needs to pay loan, and I'm buying the property now and I have the cash for it, I'm not suffering from debt. I'm not subject to loans, and that property could be profitable by itself. So what I get from you, and I understand, I should hire a professional to look at the financial. The financial is a key component to analyze if the reason of selling is as distressed properties comes from maybe loan distress or operation distress, right? It's not the same distress, right? Am I right?
You're right, and in a way, I think that when an investor thinks of buying a property at Sukhumvit, for example,
yeah.
If you have taken a loan to buy properties at Sukhumvit, for sure you're going to suffer from a business plan that's mismatched.
Yeah.
I think that to invest in a destination like Sukhumvit in Bangkok,
yeah.
the equity component has to be much higher compared with a very small loan component.
Okay.
If you were to invest in the resorts like Pattaya or Phuket,
yeah.
yes, in that case, you could service a loan because the returns can be much greater.
I see.
But then the appreciation over a period of time in Sukhumvit is going to be far greater than in the resorts.
See.
So you need to be very, very clear on your objectives. If you're parking cold cash, Sukhumvit's a good place to park it.
Yeah.
But if you're planning to run a business and make the business pay for itself and generate
yeah.
cash flows, then you would be looking at investing in the resorts. And yes,
I need financial consulting. I understand that.
So one point I'd like to make when it comes to investing in hotels is that most people think of hotels as just real estate. But in fact, no, it's you should be thinking
business.
of the business first. And what do you want from the business? What are your expectations from the business? Are you looking to generate a return on investment that is high? If that is the case, then one could be looking at the resorts.
Yeah.
Or are you looking at gradual appreciation, an asset that you could
yeah.
give to your children when you die? I think that would be a different kind of calculation.
Okay, talking about distressed property and the reasons, now I must ask that question. If a property is a distressed property, I mean, losing money in that case, okay, not necessarily a family issue, why should anyone will buy it?
Because people have, I think, different strategies with their investments. What is poison for you could be food for me.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you can effect an improvement in the financial performance through a change of brand on the asset, this is
yeah.
one thing. There are investors who buy a building, remove the signage on the building, put up an international brand
yeah.
Signage on the building, franchise management.
Thereafter, it's full.
Exactly. So that's one way of turning it around. Another way is to put in capex, capital expenditure into the building,
yeah.
Transform it from what it was into something that the market needs currently, contemporize it.
Yeah. So you mean taking a hotel, for example, from 3-star to 4-star or 5-star?
Or taking a 3-star hotel from yesteryears and making a 3-star hotel for today, because today's traveler has a different set of requirements.
I see.
From what it used to be even in the 90s or the early 2000s.
Yes.
So by bringing it in line with market demand and expectations, you have been able to increase the average daily rate of the hotel, increase the occupancies, and you're laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as conclusion, I would say distressed asset is something that you need to look very carefully.
Yes.
And understanding the reason, do the due diligence to understand. No one's selling property for a cheap price without a reason, especially in Thailand. And
I think
looking at the asset from the inside out and getting a strategy. Of what any investors will do with the property. Every investors will have maybe different reason what they want to achieve from that property. So but it needs to be clear before you put the investment. Not just buying it cheap mean that making some money. But that leads me to that next question. How is this distressed property market here in Thailand?
Well, there are no distressed properties for sale in Thailand.
Oh,
That is a broad sweeping statement.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, there are always opportunities because, after all, owners are human beings. There is a divorce, there is a push from the bank, as you said.
There's COVID.
And yes, there was COVID. And while the Thai banking system protected the fire sale of Thai assets by putting an interest and principal moratorium during COVID, now that is over, and there are a lot of people who don't want to open their hotels again.
Yeah.
So within that, the idea is to find maybe not distress, but market value or slightly below market value, and maybe close above market value to get some very valuable assets. That's the way I look at it. I think this is the area that we also specialize in for
Thailand
investors.
is a good market.
Absolutely.
Thailand is a good market. As always, Ashley, thank you so much for your knowledge and expertise. Today we spoke about a distressed asset, which is sometimes coming to the table. I think you're right. I never seen many distressed assets here in Thailand. And if there is distressed asset, it go like this, huh?
Exactly.
It will sell in a snap. So,
Exactly.
buyers, if you're planning to buy a property and you find a property that is a good price, market price or close to market price, and if it's under market price, should move quickly and buy the property, otherwise it will be out of the market. Ashley, thank you so much. If you like this video, like and subscribe so you can see many more awesome videos of Ashley Montero and get all of his experience on hotel industry in Thailand and other places in the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Iran. Thank you.